Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be Weekly Reviews 15. I'm nearly caught up with the backlog, so hopefully after this I won't fall behind again. So yeah, I'll just get straight into it because I do have quite a few movies to talk about in this one. There's no TV shows again, but yeah, because this one pretty much covers the last week of October, so there's quite a few horror movies in here that I watched. So I'll just get straight into it. So up first is Unfriended, which actually really surprised me because a lot of these, found footage horror films that have come out in the last couple of years, they've been really hit or miss, and yeah, this one I was actually pleasantly surprised by how much I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was actually really effective, and for the most part I liked the cast. I thought, yeah, it was I liked the very minimal setting. I liked the concept of it all taking place around social media, and yeah, I think if I had to give it one fault, it would probably be the ending, which I think is what a lot of people have said. If they had just ended it with the video being uploaded, I think that would have been a very effective ending. But and yeah, the last little bit they didn't really need, but for the most part I enjoyed it. So and it would be one that I would rewatch again, and I'm gonna give Unfriended a 7.5 out of 10. Then I finally got around to watching Woman in Black 2. This was a Netflix watch, and I'm glad I watched it on Netflix, because I think if I'd bought it, I would have been very disappointed, like a lot of people have said. I went into this with very low expectations, and even those very low expectations were not met. I mean, I was a big fan of the first one with Daniel Radcliffe. I thought that was a very effective ghost thriller, horror thriller, I guess you'd call it. But the sequel was just so unnecessary. I mean, it was well acted, it was beautifully shot, the cinematography was great, but the story itself was it was boring, and I just couldn't wait for it to be over, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, it's not one I have any desire to see again, so I'm just sticking with the first one. And the first one's going to be the only one that I'll own in my collection, so Woman in Black 2, I'm going to give a 5 out of 10. Then I watched Scream 3, which making my way through the Scream films, and I think most people have this as their least favourite in the series. I can see why, but I actually really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I liked the whole the movie taking place on the, I guess, during the making of the third film that the stab movie that the series, I guess the Scream movie in the series. So yeah, I kind of liked the whole movie within a movie type element. But yeah, it's just I've just had a lot of fun with these Scream films, and yeah, a couple of it's taken me so long to get around to viewing them, and yeah, it's I mean, Scream 3 isn't a particular, not my favourite out of the series. I think that's still the first one, but I mean, because it was ranking it in the trilogy, it would probably go 1, 2, 3, but I still like all of them. Just because it's ranked third doesn't mean that it's I mean, I don't hate it or anything. I still liked it. And yeah, I thought, for a third film in the series, I thought it was still very, very good. And yeah, so I'm going to give Scream 3 a 7.5 out of 10. Then I watched Beyond the Thunderdome, and with this one I've finally seen the original Mad Max trilogy. All I have left is to watch Mad Max Fury Road, which I will hopefully be getting to next weekend, but we'll see how I go because I've got quite a busy weekend, but that's the tentative plan anyway, to watch the fourth film. But I'm surprised that I actually enjoyed the Mad Max trilogy as much as I did, and Beyond the Thunderdome was no exception. Because I think, again, the third one is... I haven't heard too many good things about the third one, but one thing I will note, because I think this one is more, it's a bit more campy and I guess not as serious as the other two films, but I still had fun with it, and I liked the whole Thunderdome concept, and I actually really did like Tina Turner in this. I thought her performance was like, it's over the top, and she was a lot of fun in this movie, and I liked her interactions with Mel Gibson. And except whenever I say like Beyond the Thunderdome, all I keep thinking of is We Don't Need Another Hero, like the song from the movie, which I actually really like. But this is just a and also one note I wanted to make. I'd previously heard the quote, "Two may enter, one man leaves, or one may leave." I'm not sure. I think there's a couple of variations on it, but I didn't realize that came from Beyond the Thunderdome. And I was like, as soon as they said it, I was like, that's where that one comes from, because I'm sure in one of the mock the week scenes we'd like to see, that was one of the responses. I can't remember which quote. I think it was kind of like things you don't want to hear over the I guess PA system or something like that, and that, I think that was where was it. Oh, I'm not sure what his name is, because he said I'm blanking on what the guy's name was. It was like in the middle series of Mock the Week. I think it was like series 7 or something. But because because he said it, and it's like I didn't know it actually came from like this movie, and I was like, that now I get the kind of like with Captain America and the Avengers. Is like I understood that reference. So it was kind of like that, a bit of a moment for me. But on the whole, really enjoyed Beyond the Thunderdome. I think if I was to rank the original trilogy, I would probably again have it go 1, 2, 3. Not very original, I know, but I think the first one was very effective in like setting up this world and how like isolated it is, and just I really liked the whole desert setting, and you sort of start to see Max's journey like to becoming like I guess the warrior that he becomes in the later films. But I do again still like all the other films in the trilogy. There's not really one that I particularly dislike or like the least. It's just how I prefer them, and I'm gonna give Beyond the Thunderdome a 7.5 out of 10. Then I watched Amy, which was the documentary about Amy Winehouse that came out earlier this year. I've been wanting to see this one for a while, but I just couldn't find it anywhere like online to watch, because none of my local cinemas got it, 'cause I think it had a very limited release here in Australia. But I finally found it online, and I was like, I'm going to watch this, and it was a very well done documentary. So I actually liked Amy Winehouse's music. I mean, she wasn't like one of my favorite musicians or anything like that, but I did appreciate her music, and she was very talented, and it was just a shame with what happened to her. Like just watching that documentary, just seeing what she went through in the press, and you could see she was crying out for help, and just the people around her were saying, like some of the people around her were saying, no, like people whose opinions she respected and trusted, and they were like, oh no, you're fine, just get back up and get out there, and like that's pretty much made it worse. And it was just it was very heartbreaking and hard to watch, and especially the way she was treated in the press. And it was it was I can't really describe sort of my feelings on this, like with the documentary. And I'll just say it was a very well done. I'm glad I've seen it. I'm going to give Amy a 8 out of 10. Then I watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. I watch it every October. It sort of varies, like, as to when in October I watch it. Like, sometimes I'll watch it right at the start, other times middle and then end, which is what I did this year. This was one of the last films I watched on October 31st, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's one I look forward to watching every year, and I'm sure I've talked about my thoughts on Rocky Horror before, but yeah, I just love it. I think for me I don't know, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, I think. Just because, yeah, I love it. It's got great replay value. I love Tim Curry in this. Yeah, as Frankenfurter, it's hilarious, and because I think my favourite songs are The Time Warp, obviously, and then I think I'll go Sweet Transvestite, Touch It, Touch It, Touch Me, Whatever Happened to Saturday Night. I just realised I did that out of order, that bit. And Eddie's Teddy and Rose to My World. I think they're like my favourite songs out of like the show, like the movie, but I just love everything about it, and yeah, it's a great movie to watch over Halloween, I guess. So that's Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then I finally finished off the Scream series with Scream 4, which actually surprised me by how much I enjoyed it, because I sort of wasn't too sure what to expect going into it, because I was like, because I knew it's obviously quite a few years later that they brought it back, but yeah, I actually liked this one, and I'll say the twist actually really surprised me. I did not see it coming, because I thought it was someone else, and it didn't turn out to be that person. But yeah, I liked the cast. I liked the new generation, I guess. And I actually also really liked Hayden Panettiere in this. I thought she was actually probably my favorite character in I guess out of the newer ones. But I liked the cast. I liked that the old cast returned. And I thought it was actually a very interesting premise for, Scream 4, and yeah, it's just, I actually probably liked it a bit more than 3, to be perfectly honest, but if I'm ranking it as, the whole, out of the 4 movies, but, yeah, I was very entertained throughout Scream 4, and I'm going to give, I think I gave this one a 7.5 out of 10 as well, but it's, a bit higher up than Scream 3, so it's like 1, 2, 4, then 3. I think that's my preference out of all of them. And then I rewatched Ghostbusters, because it's Ghostbusters. It's, a lot of fun. I just have so much fun when I revisit this. It's sort of, this one's again sort of become an October staple, but I just love it. I don't really have anything else to really add to my feelings on this that haven't already been said, but I just love the the cast. They all work really well together, they play off each other so well, and then you've got the supporting characters. I love Rick Moranis in this film. I think he's probably my favourite side character, and the secretary's name, Janine is, no, that's Janice. I can't remember what the secretary's name is. It starts with a J, I'm pretty sure. I should know this, but I don't. yeah, I like her as well. But yeah, it's just a really, yeah, it's Ghostbusters. It's great. And I will say this, even though it's probably going to be a bit controversial, but I am actually looking forward to seeing where they go with the new Ghostbusters next year. I know I shouldn't, but I'm curious and I want to check it out. I can't say that I completely hate on the idea, so yeah, I know that might be a bit controversial, but anyway, that's my opinion. I may be one of the few people who are actually curious to see where this film goes, so but anyway, Ghostbusters, awesome, 9 out of 10. Then I watched Rosemary's Baby, which I had never seen before. I've been meaning to watch it for the last couple of years, but I've only just got around to it this year. It was very different to what I was expecting, because I believe it's based on a book, but I haven't read the book yet, obviously. And because where they was heading it up to go, like, I knew the basic premise, obviously, but yeah, it was sort of like, I guess, really the direction that they went with it. And then yeah, I just thought it was very interesting how, like, sort of like the way they just sort of like with the husband and the neighbors, and I thought that was a very interesting dynamic. And just sort of seeing how, like, Rosemary's desperation when she realizes there's something wrong, and, you know, she's trying to get out of this, like, because she's feeling, I guess, boxed in, and she's trying to get out and do what she feels is best. And then, yeah, and then just the very end, I was expecting it to go one way, and it didn't. And I was just like, okay. But Rosemary's Baby is very good, very creepy, very, I thought the way the story was told was very effective, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Then I watched Ghostbusters 2, which I haven't seen in quite a long time, but it's not as good as the first one, but I still enjoy it. I think one of my favourite moments in this film, in the second one, is actually the trial when Rick Moranis' character is defending them, and he's going into his little segue about being trapped in the elevator. I think that moment is quite funny. And also, my other favourite moment is when the Titanic returns to New York and the harbour master's like, well, better late than never. I've just always loved that moment. And I think each time I watch Ghostbusters 2, I mean, admittedly it's been a few years between rewatches, I find it does grow on me a bit more. And one thing I will say, I didn't realise, what's his name? Peter McNeil or something like that is he's in Numbers. He plays, I can't remember his character in Numbers. He's like the Charlie's friend, and he's also in CSI Cyber. He was in like the first season of CSI Cyber. I don't know if he returned for the second one, but yeah, I didn't realize he was sort of like, well, I suppose he wasn't like the main bad guy, but he was sort of helping, like, I guess, the bad guy's assistant type person. So I thought that was very interesting. So I was sort of staring at it. I was like, I know that guy, but yeah, it's sort of, you know, it still entertained me. And I mean, yeah, as I said, it's not as good as the first one, but I'm going to give Ghostbusters 2 a 7.5 out of 10. Then I watched Hackers. I watched this film on Netflix because I'd been curious to check this one out. And because I first heard about this film through Sarah 1228, because she's mentioned it a couple of times and it intrigued me. And yeah, I was like, when I found out it was on Netflix, I was like, oh, I'm going to check this one out. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. You know, it's cheesy sci-fi, I guess you call it sci-fi, but like with the technology and that, but I just, yeah, had a lot of fun with it. I liked, I didn't realize, oh, what's his name? Johnny Lee Miller. I didn't realize he was actually in it, 'cause it's like very young. Because I think this was like his first feature film or something, but yeah, because, and you know, Angelina Jolie, she's practically a baby in this film as well, but because I forgot that they were actually married for a few years in the 90s, but I suppose that's sort of where they met. But yeah, it's very interesting, and yeah, I liked their dynamic. I liked the whole bringing in all the different hackers groups, and yeah, it was an entertaining way to spend a couple of hours. So I'm, yeah, glad I've finally seen it, and I'm probably going to give Hackers a 7.5 out of 10. Then I watched Transporter Refueled. Now, I will admit I've only ever seen the first Transporter movie with Jason Statham. I haven't seen 2 or 3, even though at some stage I want to check them out. I was curious about to check this one out, even though it only lasts, like, it came out in the cinema, but it only lasted like a week at my local cinema. So I was kind of like, okay, that's obviously a sign. And then when I finally got around to watching it, I was like, yeah, I can see why it only lasted a week in the cinema. This one was just dreadful. I mean, not the worst movie I've seen this year, but it's pretty close. It was just, yeah, it was just a very generic action movie, and normally I like those, but something about this one just felt off. Like, I didn't connect with any of the characters, and yeah, it's just felt very unnecessary, and I don't know, I just, yeah, didn't like it. It was, again, similar to Women in Black too. I know they're very different genres, but I didn't, yeah, this one, again, I couldn't wait to be over, but I was like, I stuck it out to the end. And yeah, I won't be revisiting this one. I was very disappointed in how this one turned out, and not, you know, I wasn't expecting high art, but, you know, these type of movies, you know, I think I want to be entertained, and this one I wasn't. So I'm going to give Transporter Refueled a 5.5, I think. I'm just trying to think what I gave it at my original rating. I can't remember. No, I think I gave this one a 6. Is it a 6 out of 10? Yeah, it was either a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10. I can't quite remember. But yeah, it was a low rating. Or low rating for me anyway. So, there's that one. Then I rewatched Thor as part of my Marvel Cinematic Universe rewatch, and I've always liked Thor. I know Thor's not the most in the movies, is not the most popular one, but this was my very first experiencing an MCU film in the theatre, and I have a bit of a soft spot for it. And because I just had so much fun seeing it in the theatre, and yeah, and I always enjoy it on rewatch. It's just great. You know, yeah. One of the things, obviously, well, for me, that really sells it to me is how well Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston work with each other. Like, you can believe that they're brothers, and just their whole sibling rivalry, and it's just, yeah, I just love seeing their relationship play out over the, I guess, next few films, but I'll talk about that when I get to those ones. But yeah, I just have a lot of fun. Yeah, just like, there's really like little moments when Thor's like adjusting to life on Earth. I love that whole thing, is like when he's throws down his coffee mug and he's like, this drink, I like it, another, and just things like that. And also when he breaks into the SHIELD facility, that one's yeah, I love those moments. And yeah, it's just I really enjoy Thor, and I'm going to give Thor... I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Then I finished my prequel trilogy rewatch, and I watched Revenge of the Sith. Which, is... I've talked about this, I think, a few times, but it's... Revenge of the Sith is my favourite out of the prequel trilogy. I got to... Because I think... I went to see this... I was at the midnight premiere for the... Well, not the premiere, but the midnight showing at my local theatre. And, yeah, it's just so much fun. And, yeah, I sort of like seeing how they bridge the prequel trilogy with the original. And, yeah, while there's, a couple of, I guess, inconsistencies, for the most part, I think they transition that pretty well. I think this is the one where, really, Hayden Christensen's performance as Anakin really, I guess, he really sells it, that he's about to spiral into becoming Darth Vader. Just the whole, with the Jedi Temple, the younglings, his last battle with Obi-Wan, or before he, officially becomes Darth Vader, I guess. But, yeah, it's a very, yeah, I don't know, I can't really describe my thoughts on this one, but I always like, I guess, the imagery with Order 66 and the execution of the Jedi, and how the political imagery is very effective in this movie. And yeah, just seeing it, the last hour of the film is just very heavy hitting, and I always liked how dark it became, sort of from, I guess, when you compare it to the Phantom Menace, when it's sort of, relatively, not saying, it's completely light and cheery, but when you compare it to Revenge of the Sith, it's the differences and the tone of the films are very, I think, prominent. And I do actually, one thing I do like about the prequel trilogy is the character arcs, just sort of seeing where they end up from the start to the end. And so I actually think I'm going to give Revenge of the Sith a 9 out of 10. I mean, yes, it's not the greatest movie. I will admit, it's fully not the greatest movie ever. But it's one of my favorites of, well, it is my favorite, as I said, of the prequel trilogy. But I don't think I actually have it ranked, because I know some people are like, oh, Revenge of the Sith is better than A New Hope, but I don't think I'm one of those people, because I think I will fully admit that the original trilogy is superior to the prequels. I just have a soft spot to the prequel trilogy, because that's, especially Phantom Menace, because that's what got me hooked into Star Wars. And yeah, I'm just sort of yeah, I don't really think I could actually, rank them, so it'd be pretty much original trilogy, then the prequels, even though they may have similar ratings or that, or one maybe ranks slightly higher than that, but I think they're very different, I guess, groups of films. And I know some people go they rank the things from 1 to 6, but I don't really think I can do that. It's so I'm just going to stick to ranking them in the trilogies rather than grouping them as a whole. But in the prequel trilogy, my order goes Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones. So that is how I rank the prequel trilogy. But then the last film that I have to talk about in this video is the movie that I saw at the cinema for this particular week, and that is The Last Witch Hunter. Now, I know this movie has not gotten very good reviews, but to be perfectly honest, I had a lot of fun with it. Yes, it's not going to win any major awards or that, but I thought the cast was very likable. I enjoyed their interactions. You know, I just, yeah, it's, I don't know, I just liked it. That's all I can really say. I liked Vin Diesel in this. I liked Elijah Wood. I thought they were actually a very interesting pair, and yeah, I will admit I did get caught out by one of the twists towards the end, but which I probably should have seen coming, but for some reason, yeah, I was thinking it was another thing, but and I also liked the girl in this film. I can't think of her name, but she played Ygritte. Ygritte is the girl, the wildling from Game of Thrones, season 2, season 3 of Game of Thrones. But yeah, I mean, yeah, as I said, this movie is not the greatest movie ever, but I enjoyed it, and I had a fun couple, you know, I was entertained for a couple of hours, so, and which was what I wanted out of this movie. I was like, if it entertains me, then I'll be happy, and it did that, and I'm going to give The Last Witch Hunter a 7.5 out of 10. So that is it for this set of videos, for weekly reviews. This, so I just have one lot more of weekly reviews, and then I'm caught up. So I will hopefully get this these next couple of videos up soon, so then I'm right for next week. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, but just that week that I was sick, it just completely knocked me around. So, and I just, yeah, fell behind with my schedule. So hopefully with this, I can now get caught up. But anyway, I'm going to stop it here. So thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!